Well, welcome back to this week's Along the Journey. This week we are along one of the many designated bird viewing trails here at Bethabara Park in Bethabara Village. Bethabara, for those that don't know, is the site of one of the original settlements, Moravian families who came to this area in what would eventually become Winston-Salem, developed in 1753 here at Bethabara. And they've set these trails aside. And I don't know if you can hear, but the birds are just beautiful music this morning. And you can see them. And I love to sit and observe birds. I don't get to do it near as often as I'd like. And I'm not a bird watcher. I'd love to be. I just don't know that much about it. I've got a book on my back porch. When I see one, I try to record what it is. But to me, you got red ones and yellow ones and white ones with black spots and long beaks, and they're all beautiful. And it's a gift that God has given us in His creation. And I am amazed sometimes seeing them fly through the trees, the branches with great speeds. I've never seen one hit a branch or a tree, fall out of the air. uh, a glass door, perhaps, but when they're flying through the woods, you never see that. I the way they nest, the way they feed their young, they feed themselves. It's really pretty remarkable. To me, birds really demonstrate the idea of one day at a time, better than most of us ever do. In in fact, so much so that in the Sermon on the Mount teaching, Jesus uses that example of birds to encourage us. You know that the birds, look at them, they rely on God providing them each day their nourishment and their needs, meeting their needs. And if He loves us and values us that much more, then how much more should we rely on Him to do that as well? And of course, defining needs. Sometimes it's the needs of life versus the needs of lifestyle. But this week in Journey, we're really putting together all 4 weeks of generous living. It's the final week of grace commitments. And in this fourth week, we're going to look at how contentment, how investing in the kingdom, how the third idea of worship as our motive um, comes together with demonstrating faith, and that demonstrating faith is really the result of generous living. And as you do, there are three key takeaways this week. The first is this, is that your equipping exercise is wonderful. It's one page, and it's a series of passages and verses, and just one or two words are all you need to sort of answer each one. But there's looking at what is God's promise in each of these passages, what is the condition of that promise in each of these passages? And then what is the life application of that promise in each of these passages? And when you get together as a group, you don't have to go through all of them, but maybe there was an aha for one or two of them, or maybe the entire exercise opened your eyes to something or gave you great encouragement, and each of you can share that. The second takeaway this week is we're at a point now where we should sort of be able to work through the New Testament canon. That we know the order of the books, sort of a bit of why they're in their order, but really how do we go to them? How do we demonstrate them as we're going deeper in God's Word? Do we know Matthew through Revelation? So keep working on that. Encourage one another in that. And then the third aspect this week, the third takeaway is I highly, highly encourage you to go on the recommended prayer walk, whether that's around your neighborhood, in your community, along the bird viewing trail. Matthew 9:36, Jesus says, or it said of Jesus that when He looked upon the crowd, He had great compassion for them. Well, that's often what a prayer walk does. If it's in your community, your neighborhood, or just who God places on your heart, when you are intentional about being out with a conversation in God about a community around you and being compassionate in that. Jesus would go on to say that, lift up your eyes. The fields are white for the harvest. And in a mission-driven, life on mission life, the fields truly are ripe and white for the harvest for us to be ready and prepared. And we can go out and pray about that. And I'd encourage you to. I think it'll be a wonderful experience for you, and it will help you grow in your prayer life as well. So, as you go this week, may we all just be grateful for our daily bread, and may we, in many respects, have a week of bird like faith along the journey.